I bought every single SpongeBob Lego set that has ever been released. Today, we are going to go through all of them and check out the complete history of SpongeBob as Legos. And also, we'll be ranking them on a scale of 1 to 10 good noodle stars to see which one I think was the greatest Lego release that they ever did. Without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, so starting off, we are going to start with the first one they ever released. They actually released 3, so this was wave 1. And to be honest, I don't know if I actually have every single Lego set. When I'm looking through wave 1, I am also kind of trying to check off all the different ones that released to see if I do have them all. I feel like I could be missing 1, maybe 2, but I don't even know which ones they are. Because to be honest, I'm not like a huge Lego head. I'm actually more of a sponge head. So if any that I'm missing, that's going to be on my hunt list in the future. But first off here, we have the first one ever. I don't think they could have gone wrong with this. The Krusty Krab.
Did you say Krusty Krab?
That's right. Krusty Krab. Home of the world famous Krabby Patty.
So the first one we're checking out though in that wave is the Krusty Krab, and this one gives you the entire Krusty crew. It has Squidward, SpongeBob, Mr. Krabs, as well as a very tiny plankton that I will show you. And this is one of the cases where I actually do have the physical build here in order to showcase to you guys. So you guys will get some really good shots of all of these. But unfortunately, a lot of these I did pick up and they are still sealed. And if you look at the going prices for a lot of these, they are several $100s. I did not pay that much. I got them in a huge collection that I bought. So like piecing it apart, I probably got them all for like about $100 or less each individually. But because they're so expensive, I don't think I'll ever get another sealed one in the collection, so my goal is to hunt down open versions, complete versions of them in my collection as well. So this is one of the situations where I do have a complete built one, and I also have a sealed one in the collection. And I want to talk about some stuff that I like and don't like about each one, but to be honest, I don't really see a ton that I dislike about this first one. This is ages 7 to 12, so they aren't like the black box, like high premium, almost like adult scale Lego builds they have nowadays, which they are going to be doing a new SpongeBob one coming up, apparently, that will be a little higher quality. So this is not going to compare to something like the Volt X Krusty Krab, which is like a night and day difference between the quality. This is made mostly for somebody younger to be able to complete it, and I mean, it has everything. It has the vault. It's got the Krusty Krab grill. It's got Squidward. You know what? I'm gonna give this one a pretty high ranking just because it is the first set too. I'm gonna give this one 8.5 good noodle stars out of 10. And plus, he was number 1. And before we go anywhere, here's a quick word from our sponsor, Flexispot. Okay, sitting on down here with my arms rested because I can do that right now, so I could tell you guys about our sponsor, Flexispot. They sent me this brand new chair that I am in love with. I brought it out of my office because I've been sitting in there for the last week or so. And it got me thinking about how if I'm not in bed, chances are in a chair, and I probably spend more hours in a chair or my bed than anything else ever, which is kind of horrifying, but also good when you have a comfortable chair. That's why it's very, very important. So when Flexispot reached out with their new C7 Max chair, I jumped at the opportunity because I have been needing a new chair in my office for quite some time. It has a 0.2-inch latex and memory foam seat cushion and an ergonomic design. Oh yeah, and I can also do this. So you can kick back in it. It has a leg rest, and you can also adjust the height. It's got an adjustable headrest, and probably one of the coolest things ever, these freaking 3/6 armrests. Plus, every chair has a 30-day guarantee and a 10-year warranty for damaged parts. And I can say this is one of the most sturdy and well-built chairs I've ever got. Plus, if you're on a little bit of a budget, they also have their C7 chair that's a little bit more basic, but still has the same build quality and comfort. And they have their C7 Morpher chair that's like an upgrade even, with a more beefed up adjustable backrest. Also, Flexispot's brand day sale is happening now. Enjoy up to 80% off site-wide. Use my exclusive code C730 for an extra $30 off your purchase. This is the best time to indulge yourself in comfort. Okay, I lied. I actually do have another one built that I could show you, for example. I forgot about this one. Next one up, we have the Build-A-Bob, and this is a massive robot SpongeBob that you can build that is essentially like Plankton's control center.
Something must be wrong with my brain. Plankton.
And how freaking cool is that? I do also have this one sealed in the collection. And at first glance, I thought this was meant to be like the robot SpongeBob from Battle for Bikini Bottom. But if you pay attention closely to the design, it actually has like a scaled up plankton here. So if you compare that to the miniature figure in the Krusty Krab, for scale, I mean, it's probably not 1-to-1, but you can see that we're trying to kind of essentially go into a SpongeBob sized body. It has just been scaled up so you can play with it and have the details. So that's why this plankton is significantly bigger than the one from that set, because the proportions of the situation here are a lot bigger. And this one I think is absolutely brilliant because Plankton, his first appearance in the show, he actually takes over SpongeBob. So his first appearance being this particular scene is actually really accurate. This one also came out in 2006, and looking on the inside here, you can see there are so many little details. His mouth flap actually goes down, and he's able to shoot bubbles. So it has this little launcher in here you can actually launch bubbles out of. So it has a little bit of a projectile defense system. And then we also have a cover of Plankton on Clams magazine that he has hung up here. Like, I love that he has just completely taken over SpongeBob's body. He started to add furniture and even wall art because he plans to be there for a while. And this set is extremely hard to find. It is extremely expensive, and I think because of the fact that I think more than the Krusty Krab, people probably, our kids probably use this guy kind of like an action figure in some ways, that it is tough to find complete. In fact, this one you see here, it is actually missing. You might notice it's a little bit short, its head here. It is actually missing a row of Legos that go through to make him about a little bit taller. So when this was built, it was just made a little bit shorter in order to still be able to make it happen, you know. But this one right here is also brand new and sealed. And on this channel, I like to preserve SpongeBob history, so I will be keeping this one sealed, and hopefully I find more parts for this guy or I find a replacement. But for him, I'm actually gonna give him a higher ranking than I did the Krusty Krab because I just think he's so fun. We're gonna give him a 9.5 out of 10. Oh yeah, and also you can spin his eyes from the inside. All right, anyway, moving on to the next one, which this one I do not have, I realized. I thought that I had it, but I was mistaken because I have something similar, but it is not this one. So I have this, which is the Bikini Bottom Undersea Party. So you can see it's kind of made to be like a Hawaiian style party, and it's the same pieces as the one that I thought that I had, which is Adventures in Bikini Bottom. So that one I am missing, and that is tough because that is one of the hardest ones to get, because it is, we'll pop up some photos up for you on screen right now. It is Conch Street, which is SpongeBob, Squidward, and Patrick's house. And I mean, what kid didn't want that one? So of course, I think a majority of those ones were open, making it tough to find sealed. And since I don't have a physical representation for this one, we will be showing you guys some footage that we found online and try to credit those sources as we do it, so that way you can at least see what it looks like. I wish I could open up all of mine and build them, but I just want to have all of them sealed to preserve in the collection. And like I said, eventually we will be able to find them loose, I'm sure. As you'll see, I do have a couple other ones we were able to find loose down the line. But just looking at photos, it is fantastic. I do think that Patrick's house is a little bit weird. It doesn't really quite fit in with like what Patrick's house typically looks like. I thought it was just like a background rock when I had seen pictures in the past, until getting a closer look at some of the images. That is so freaking cool. So I definitely have to get that one down the line. I think that this one goes for around $400. Which is just insane. So I don't think I'm probably gonna get that one sealed. I didn't think I would ever get this many of them sealed. It just was a lucky situation, but if I can ever find it loose, I will definitely be picking that up, so at least I have it in my collection. And I just want to have the box and all the pieces. So if you have the Adventures in Bikini Bottom and you're interested in letting go of it and want to sell it, let me know. I might be interested if it's not that price, but you know, an okay one. So nonetheless though, I will rank this one. I am gonna give this one a, I don't know, I feel like it doesn't really hit as hard as this one does for me personally, but I do think that it has more to offer than the Krusty Krab, so I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. I know my rankings are pretty high, but I mean, it is Lego and they do a fantastic job. And what I also wanted to mention is on the back of them, they have these little comic books, which I think are so fun, and they're in English and French. So you can see the comic. So this is the one that's on the back of the SpongeBob one. You foiled my scheme the last time, SpongeBob. I feel funny. Let's see what this does. I think he's saying wobble, obble, bobble. Hey, this wasn't supposed to happen. And then he spits Plankton out. A very brief comic, but you know what? You have the real estate there on the box, might as well. What does the Krusty Krab one look like? The All-Star Plankton. Mr. Krab's secret formula is mine. One Krabby Patty coming up. Squidward just said it. That's just Squidward's one line. Shout out to Squidward. I'll show you, SpongeBob. Quit wasting me profits. Whee! This isn't what I meant. The comics are just so like they all happen within 5 frames, so they're pretty drastic, the results. I don't even really know how Plankton died, but I guess got knocked out, or I don't know, he's got stars around his head. I have no clue how that even went down, but he seems to be, his plans were foiled again. Alright, so I love the Wave 1. That all came out in 2006. Then we had, in 2007, I guess that the first wave performed pretty well, because in 2007, we got 2 more sets. And in Wave 2, the star of the show, we had all the comic books, so why not? We have Plankton in the Chum Bucket. Now this one, I think this might be our first 10. This is so cool. So you have the Chum Bucket here, as you can see on the front. And again, we will add some footage on screen of the thing completely built, again, for representation. But look at how many pieces you get here. You get Plankton and his Robo Walker. You get this awesome Plankton's tank. You get this brain transfer system from the episode where he transfers SpongeBob's brain into a robot. You also have Karen on the screen. How many toy companies never have given us a Karen? Funko, no Karen. Kid Robot, no Karen. U2's, no Karen. So I mean, the fact that Lego gave us one in 2007 is amazing. And this was before Karen's first appearance on Wheels. So this was early Karen when she was just a monitor in Plankton's lab. You can see there's so many references to the episode here that are just incredible. You also have Plankton's patty analyzer machine, which is another thing you see super early in the series, where he analyzes a Krabby Patty and his computer shuts down just before getting to see the recipe. But we did find out that Plankton was
Plankton, 1% evil, 99% hot gas.
You also get the robot that Plankton made to be a customer at the Krusty Krab to steal a Krabby Patty, and it actually like worked. So we got that too. How cool is this? This has so many more features than any of the other 3 that we showed. I would say almost all of the features in the other ones combined into one. If I could have like manifested one special feature to this, it would have been for a minifigure of Plankton, like Splat, like him as a little Splat that you could like stick onto the wall of the door of the Chum Bucket. So if you have the Krusty Krab set, you could have Plankton get flicked across through the Chum Bucket and just smashed against the door. But man, you get so many pieces in here. I think this is truly like the ultimate Plankton like setup here. This one for me is getting, man, is this good, our first 10? I think it does. I think this is our first 10 out of 10. And it also has a comic here. We no longer feature text. They're like, yeah, we're not translating. We must have done it in English and French, and people in Mexico and Latin America were like, hey, what about Spanish? People in Germany were like, hey, what about us? You know? So you don't have any language. You have Plankton picking up SpongeBob, pulling him into the Chum Bucket. You see the brain transferring happening, and then you just see SpongeBob walking out as the robot. I think with the other ones, it was like they had to have some kind of conclusion, whereas this one kind of starts the story for you, and then where the story goes from there, that's up to your imagination. 10 out of 10, awesome. This is so embarrassing, but I think this is the only other one that I'm missing. I thought that I just didn't even know this one was a thing, so I have to add this one to our list of ones that I need, and I'm pretty sure from here that's the only one I'm missing, and that is Mrs. Puff's boating school. Oh, I need to get this one. It's so cool. So you have Mrs. Puff's boating school. It looks like you have the lighthouse there too that looks like it might even work, the lighthouse. And again, we'll have some footage up there for you. But what I really love is it has the obstacle course that SpongeBob would typically be, you know, doing his driving test in. And I think that's so much more fun because it actually takes, it's like with the Krusty Krab, Conch Street, the Chum Bucket, and now Mrs. Puff's boating school, you can really build like a Bikini Bottom experience. And I think that if you got them all set up on a table, it would be so freaking cool. As I get more of them open box, I would definitely love to do that someday. We'll do like an update to this video where I have them all set up and build their own little Bikini Bottom. But I think that driving course is so cool. It even has the wall that SpongeBob crashes into. I will give the Mrs. Puff's boating school, I don't think it's as tough as the Plankton one or the SpongeBob, so I'm gonna give it I feel like it's on par with the SpongeBob kind of. I'm gonna give it a 9. I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I don't know, I feel like it's missing something, because I think it has a fence in the background of the box picture, but then when you look at it like as just a piece, that fence of course is not there, so it kind of fills in the blanks. Maybe if Mrs. Puff's school would have been a little bigger, maybe more close to the size of like the Krusty Krab, I just feel like her classroom almost looks like a little gas station, like pay cashier window kind of thing, rather than being like a classroom. So that's the only reason I think I'm gonna hold it back to a 8.5 rather than than a 9. I do think they were trying to mostly focus on that obstacle course, which is understandable. Okay, so now I think, I don't know, we'll see. I hope I'm not missing any more, because I just see the price going up on what I have to buy in the future. But again, I'm going to try to find those last 2 in the wild, dude. I don't plan on ending collecting anytime soon, so I got years and years, hopefully, to find those other 2. Alright, so Wave 3 came out in 2008. Let's check it out. But next up here, we have one of the hardest ones to find. This is by far one of the ones you never see come up on eBay. And I think it's for a reason that I'll explain. But it is the Bikini Bottom Express. So again, you got all the tools here for the Bikini Bottom experience. You're gonna need a bus to get from place to place. So it has the bus. And I think this is awesome because the bus is kind of featured in a lot of really key episodes. You have the Rock Bottom episode, of course, where the bus takes them to Rock Bottom. Glove World episode where they take them to Glove World, of course. You also have a notable scene, I think, when the bus comes to pick up Sandy in the Sandy's, I think Texas is the episode. So it's a very, it's almost like the key vehicle that you see them use in the first few seasons outside of SpongeBob's Boatmobile. And you actually get our first incidental minifigure. So far we got mostly devices and main characters, but we get our first incidental fish, which is the bus driver fish. But I mean, there's not a ton to talk about this one, but I imagine that this would have been a more affordable set than some of the other ones. You know, the other sets have like 300 pieces, 400 pieces in bricks. This one's only 200. I think it is a really key piece in order to fill in the Bikini Bottom experience. I'm not sure if it comes with the bricks, the minifigs for SpongeBob and Patrick. I assume it does. It does have, though, the ticket booth, which allows you to put the ticket in one side and pull it through the other. And it also has a liftable bus roof so you can put in your minifigs. And it also has a little spinning propeller as well that spins with the wheels. So I mean, for what a bus can do, I think it does all the needs, but I don't think there's too much to talk about this one, besides the fact that it's really rare. And I think the reason why it's rare is because, again, as a collector, you'll see this happen with pretty much everything. If an action figure line comes out, and there's 8 figures, usually the character that nobody is interested in like 10-15 years ends up being the most expensive one because not as many people bought it. So they end up getting, you know, moved over to like discount stores like Ross. If they don't sell there, they get tossed a lot of times, and during those moves they get beat up, the boxes get messed up. People buy them more as like impulse purchases, so they don't usually treat them to like the highest standard, and just less and less of them exist. Whereas like a set like Cod Street, you know, somebody might actually just keep that for the packaging in a sealed box, or build it and take care of that set for a lifetime, leaving them accessible for future collectors. But I think that the bus, being that Legos can be pricey, and there you got the Krusty Krab, you got the Chum bucket, you got the giant SpongeBob, I think that the bus would have probably been the least of your priorities. And for that reason, I think that although it's one of the smallest, it's one of the most expensive sets, going for around $300 to $400, if you can even find one pop up. For the bus, I'm gonna give this one a 7.5. I mean, it's very cool. It's cool in conjunction with everything else, but as a standalone piece, this probably doesn't work nearly as much. So for that, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. Next one up, I do not have sealed. This is a situation where I don't have it sealed, but I do have it open. And I recently got this one at the flea market from a friend of mine, and that is Sandy's Rocket. Now this one is so freaking cool. This just opens up your Bikini Bottom world, especially as a kid. You know, the fact you have a spaceship, that just gives you access to so many, you know, out of the Bikini Bottom world adventures that you can go on using the rocket ship. Of course, the episode goes to the moon, but I mean, if you want to, you could say you're going to Mars. You could say you're going to a Krabby Patty planet. You know, anything you can think of becomes possible with a rocket ship. It also comes with a Sandy rover, like a Mars rover, which is really cool. It comes with 3 minifigures, which is the first one and possibly the only one that actually comes with a Sandy minifig. I don't see Sandy in any of the other ones. You do get SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward, and quite a few other ones, but this is the only one that contains Sandy. Oh wait, actually there's also one inside Glove World, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So this is the first one to contain Sandy. And it also comes with a jellyfish tank, which I think is supposed to kind of represent like the episode where they were going around catching citizens and putting them in the, you know, the bottom chamber of the ship. Except for with this, you're trying to catch the jellyfish instead. And the comic on this one has Sandy pointing to the moon. SpongeBob and Patrick are excited. They get ready for liftoff. They go around the moon, land back down on Bikini Bottom, and start capturing the jellyfish. So pretty much the same concept as the episode, but of course you don't have as many minifigures to replicate that episode, so they put the jellyfish in place of that. Okay, this one's kind of surprising. Like, I just didn't think they would have made this, so when I ended up getting this one, I was like, huh, this is probably one of the ones that I feel gets publicized the least, like on Instagram, like social media, people talk about about the SpongeBob Lego set, and it is the hospital. And I guess, like, again, they were trying to kind of build the Bikini Bottom world. This also came out in that same wave as Sandy's Rocket 2008. So you have all the other fixtures. I guess why not add another building in there? So you have the hospital, you have the iconic Dr. Fish, whose hands change the colors randomly. You have an ambulance, which is awesome. The stretcher, which, you know, the stretcher only works if you have insurance, of course.
Extract the patient to the hallway. Stat!
But I feel like this is the one that makes your, like, if you add this to your already existing setup, this and Mrs. Puff's Boating School really makes it feel like you're starting to have a little city that you're building here. A little Bikini Bottom again, if you will. You also have some of these signs on the inside here, as well as an X-ray, which shows SpongeBob's X-ray there. And it is a hospital, so there's not too much that you really need to add. It's mostly somewhere that you kind of put your minifig. It's like an incorporation to your playtime story. So for this one, this is also the only one that says limited edition. I don't know why. Was the bus? Did the bus say that? The bus didn't say. None of them say that except for this one. This one's limited edition. Yeah, like literally none of them say that. I guess I don't know how limited it was, but the exclusive limited edition one. I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. I don't think it's as cool as some of the other big, you know, kind of like iconic items, but it's still pretty cool. Let's take a look at the comic before we move on. We have SpongeBob arriving to the hospital with Patrick driving. Something tells me Patrick is the reason why SpongeBob's hurt. Okay, no, it shows him getting zapped by a jellyfish, which is, he's happened to him so many times that he didn't go to a hospital, but okay. We have the doctor checking him out. He just puts him on IV for a bit. And look at that, he's better. All he needed was some IV, or whatever that is in those tubes. And then they immediately go back out to run at jellyfish to get stung again. Classic SpongeBob and Patrick. So next wave, let's do it. This is 2009, and there's a transition in the packaging here, which to Lego people may not mean anything, but for a SpongeBob collector, we are transitioning here from the green label era, which is this green style packaging they use in early SpongeBob products, over to the yellow label packaging here, which was used from this point all the way to about 2013. But the crazy thing is that the green label era was mostly dead at this point. I mean, it does have the green and white label font, but it still has like early green label design on the packaging, which for a majority of products by this point was already gone. Around 2006, 2007, you had like a couple products that maybe were like late in manufacturing and still had that green packaging. But by this point, we were like definitely heavy into the green and white label era. But a lot of other products had already started to transition to this right here, the yellow label. So kind of a late entry to that green label section. But now we're into the yellow label era for the SpongeBob products, and we have our first ever reprint. That's how we know it's the yellow label era, because things have gone downhill. No, I'm joking. But this is our first ever reprint. I guess since the other one came out in 2006, you know, it is the Krusty Krab. A lot of people probably would want the Krusty Krab of anything, and at that point, those have likely been sold out in collectors' hands. And in 2009, I don't think, I mean, obviously online shopping was a thing, you know, far back as the 90s, but it still wasn't quite that prevalent that the average parent was just ordering stuff like that online for their kids. It was still kind of like, I'm going to the store already, let's pick something up. So a re-release of the Krusty Krab would be very useful for some of those parents or those kids that were looking for it. This one, we do not get nearly as much though as the first Krusty Krab. It is very unfortunate how stripped this Krusty Krab is in comparison. I guess visually they do look similar, but notably you do not get the Krusty Krab sign, which, like, how do you have a Krusty Krab without the sign? You do not get the grill, you do not get the cash register, but it is missing so much from the first one. So, and you also don't get a Squidward minifigure. In the first one, you did get the Mr. Krab, SpongeBob, and Squidward. This one, you get a Patrick one in replacement for that. So, I don't know. I think that the original Mr. Krusty Krab was far better. You get the base plate, too, that has some extra space there where you can have the sign. You can have some of the Bikini Bottom greenery. But what you will get with this one that the other one doesn't have is the paddy wagon. So, I am thinking this was mainly trying to be kind of like a SpongeBob movie playset, so to speak. It was a little late. The movie came out in 2005, so 2009, 4 years after the movie, but that's the only thing I could really come up with that this was trying to be more of a SpongeBob movie vibe, being that you have the Patrick there. So my assumption is that they were trying to make it kind of like, oh, the Krusty Krab is just a fixture for you to begin your journey, but is more about the paddy wagon, which is all right, but I personally think that I would have just rather they had done like this, just made the paddy wagon like a smaller box, maybe even smaller than this, like a smaller box, additional product that you could have purchased, and just re-released that same Krusty Krab, maybe with addition of a couple other features, or add like a little Neptune in there. I mean, hey, if you even want to make it very meta, it'll be kind of funny, is that make it the Krusty Krab 2. And just put a 2 on it and make it the exact same set, and it would be like a genius marketing scheme to reprint the exact same product and just put that big 2 as like one piece you could put there, just like in the movie. So for that reason, I do love the paddy wagon, but I'm gonna say I think that I would much rather have this set. I am gonna give this one a 7 as well, just because I felt like you had a sequel that didn't improve on the original. And then the reprints don't stop, because we have Like a Good Neighbor, State Farm. Sorry, the set's called Good Neighbor. We have SpongeBob's house, because the original wave you had SpongeBob's house, Squidward's house, and you got freaking Patrick's house. And then they stripped it down to just SpongeBob's house. Granted, I will say that this one seems to be a slightly more detailed version of SpongeBob's house, but really only slightly, because actually the original one wasn't really that bad. Really all you get that's different is you get an addition of SpongeBob's bed and his chair and his TV. So I guess you do get that, but I think, again, I still personally would rather have Squidward's house and Patrick's house than I would have a reprint of the pineapple. So for that reason, I will give it less points. I have to give it less points than the original Con Street. I will give this one a 7.5 out of 10. But it doesn't really matter. These sets still go for like $400 despite that, because people just want to have some representation in the collection. I will say this, I did not notice this at first. It does also have SpongeBob with the reef blower. That's a nice little note. They add a lot of accessories in this one. I will say there's a lot of accessories, and I think they try to compensate for the lack of 2 buildings with more accessories, but still for me, I'm giving all the points to the big guy, the original. All right, so now we are jumping the year after year consistent Lego releases, but now we are getting our first break period here. We are jumping from 2009 to 2011, and in 2011 we got our next wave, which is 2 very small releases. Like, these are the only 2 that came out in 2011, and they are very, very tiny. So let's check these out. So we have the blue masked SpongeBob. So this is him right here, the minifigure. It comes with his like vehicle, but for a long time this eluded me, and like I would see this blue SpongeBob in so many products. We'll pop it up on screen, and I would always question myself as a huge SpongeBob fan who's seen the entire series several times. I'm like, why do I not remember him in this blue outfit? Because it's in so many products. I thought like maybe there's like one episode that I'm just skipping or I'm just not paying attention to, and it never appears. He's never in that costume. He is the Invisible, that's close, similar, but it's not that, and that wasn't even here yet. And there is the masked Sponge and Patrick Man in a very superhero-esque episode, and he has a blue mask, but it's similar. It's not quite this like Batman style outfit that you see here. So this is the first one also not based off of anything within the show really. This is based off of a style guide which was used for products for SpongeBob. So you will see that blue SpongeBob and green and yellow Patrick often in a ton of products. In fact, I think that the Patrick even has like a role in the Creature for the Krusty Krab game. So they were also utilizing that same yellow era superhero style guide image. So that gives, I don't know, I love when they base off stuff in the show. So for me, the fact that they used a style guide aspect for it does lose a couple points for me, but we'll just call it the masked Sponge and Patrick Man. They also have Plankton here in a mech suit that has the Krusty Krab formula in his hand, does launch these like Sonic Boom style things, but again, I feel like this is, it's cool, but it's comparatively those first few we showed, they were fantastic. They had so much use case, they were just so fun. I'm gonna give this one, oh man, is this gonna be our first low grade? I'm gonna give this one a 6.5. I feel harsh. I love SpongeBob so much, it's hard for me to do this, but I feel like I'm gonna give this one a 6.5. I'm sorry. It's just, there's no context to the show, really. There's not a ton of features on it, besides just being a vehicle. And, I mean, it's got Plankton as a very uncreative villain, considering they're superheroes. Like, could we have got a Man Ray, a Dirty Bubble, perhaps? I think that would have been a lot better. Comparing that to even, like, the Imagine Next set, where we got the Invisible Boatmobile, I think they kind of crushed Lego on this particular one. So I'm gonna go ahead and say 6.5 on that one. one. Next up here, I said once we got to Yellow Label, you know, there was some, but there's one that's gonna save Yellow Label era, okay? We have Glove World, and Glove World is very small. It is a little kiosk, and you have a tiny little, I dare to call that a Ferris wheel, but I guess a Ferris wheel. It is the only other one that comes with Sandy. You got Patrick covered in ice cream. It's a cool minifigure. You have another incidental, which I do appreciate, which is the ice cream vendor, and you have SpongeBob. But when you're comparing a literal theme park to some of those earlier releases, why is it so small in comparison? Like, this should be the biggest one. This should be like on the scale of this SpongeBob here, or at least to the scale of the Chum Bucket, but it is smaller than even the smallest sets of the last generation. So it's kind of remarkable that they made it so tiny. I don't even know yet. It's only 169 pieces. The bus from the Green Label era was 210. So why did we start getting smaller and smaller sets for SpongeBob? I don't quite know. It's still very cool, at least if you do have your overall setup here, can incorporate Glove World in here. So I will give them points for that one. I do think this is slightly better than the superhero card, just because of the fact that it does actually appear in the show and it is referential to like the Bikini Bottom world. And also, can we note that in Yellow era we didn't even get the comic books on the back? We stopped getting the comics. We had comics back in the days of the bus, so the comics are gone. Just everything about it feels so much more stripped and bare bones as we get a little bit further down the line. So I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. But I said it was saved. The Yellow Label era was saved because we got one of the coolest sets of all time, and that is the Flying Dutchman ship. Oh my goodness. I am a huge Flying Dutchman fan. You will notice this one's kind of glossy because I have it shrink wrapped to just keep this one in minty shape. But I love the Dutchman. I think it's so cool they actually brought him in. This is our first big villain outside of Plankton in the actual Lego world. You get these awesome pit figures of Patrick and SpongeBob as Lego minifigs. You get the Dutchman Lego minifigure, which has a really unique base that actually still connects and still gives him like the ghostly tail. It comes with a cannon, as well as it also comes with a little structural island that has a small rock that you can actually lift up and access the hidden treasure.
The Dutchman's treasure!
There's a lot more playability to it with the hidden island, the map that Patrick has, the ship itself. All of it is so much fun. I do think that the ship is still kind of small in comparison to like what I feel like a ship could look like, but at least it makes more, it's still bigger than a theme park. So we'll give it that. I'm okay with the ship being a little smaller because, you know, in order for it to work, for them to sell it, and it would fit within the world still, I'm okay with it. So for this one, I might be a little biased because I love the Dutchman so much. I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10, only asking that if for the 10 would have been a little bit bigger of a ship. So that one's getting a 9 out of 10. And then we get to our final release ever. And I think they also kind of redeemed themselves with this one as well. This is the final one, and this is the Bikini Bottom Undersea Party. So again, this is the third reprint now of SpongeBob's house. But what I will say is they brought Squidward's house back. You don't have Patrick's house, so you still don't get Patrick's house, but you do get a Mrs. Puff, Patrick, SpongeBob, Squidward, Gary, and you get a Tiki Island bar to go with it for them to kind of make smoothies. You got a teeter-totter there. You got Patrick's little DJ setup here. This one definitely has a lot more fun. You even get a freaking, what is it called? That little thing the kids spin around on. A merry-go-round? Maybe that's it? I don't know. So you have that. I think there's so many more ways to play here. And if I'm correct, I think they actually went back to the design of the first SpongeBob's house. So yes, they actually went back. So this isn't even a reprint of the second SpongeBob's house. This is a reprint of the first SpongeBob's house. So it is still a more minimalized SpongeBob's house. I would have loved if they would have done a SpongeBob's house from the reprint. So that way you could have gotten like the highest quality version of SpongeBob's house individually, and then maybe made Squidward's house an afterthought, kind of like it is already. But I do love that you got Squidward's house back. I think that that is a key, especially since they started reprinting them and they had the, you know, the Krusty Krab. If you're gonna reprint the Krusty Krab and you're gonna reprint the pineapple, reprint Squidward's house so we could have that one too. The only caveat though is that makes it slightly different from the original, is that this is the Tiki Island version. So it comes with some accent pieces, and the houses have stickers that you apply that then make them like Tiki party versions of the houses. But if you just wanted the SpongeBob's house, Squidward's house, you don't have to put those stickers on. There's no physical properties about it really that make it get like a Tiki theme. So you can remove the stickers and then have the regular themed ones if you would like to do that. But I can't give this one as many points as I did the first one, which I think I gave it 8.5, because it is a reprint. So I am gonna give this one a 7.5. Actually, I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna give it an 8 because I think it is really, really cool, especially considering, you know, how weak some of the last sets started to get, that they kind of ended it with at least one more big size one that came with 2 different properties on it, but still not as good as the original that came with Patrick's house. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. You guys let me know what was your favorite Lego set that we checked out, but that is the complete history of SpongeBob Legos. That is every SpongeBob Lego set that was ever released. We got to cover them here on the show. So now you guys are up to date with me. Now I know I gotta find Mrs. Puff's boating school, and I gotta find the original Conch Street, which I'm actually super hyped to go find because now I know that those are before the L label era, so they're probably gonna be freaking awesome. I already saw the pictures. I'm super pumped to get those ones. But you guys let me know what was your favorite of this entire video, and now we can all look forward together for the brand new SpongeBob Lego set that should be coming later this year or next year. So I can't wait for that one. You guys already know I'm going to cover it here on the channel. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. I don't do too much Lego stuff, but I do a lot of SpongeBob stuff. So if you're interested in that, come check out the channel, subscribe. And if you guys want to support this show further, you can become a member of our Patreon, which is linked down below, or you can check out our Whatnot stream. I've actually auctioned off a couple SpongeBob Lego sets on our Whatnot stream for incredible deals, and we do auctions every single week, Wednesday and Friday. We have 2 huge auctions coming up very, very soon here. We've been auctioning off production art for Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon shows, as well as doing complete physical media live streams where we auction off tons of DVDs, VHSs, CDs. If you love that kind of stuff, come check it out. We do giveaways every single show as well. All right, and on that note, I'll see you guys in this video over here that I know you're gonna love. And as always, Rat Pack, I'll see you beautiful people in the next one. Adios and bloop.